Warm greetings from the high tens. Everyday shenanigans. Thank you all so much for joining me. Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies in the chat. Sorry it took so long. I was gathering more information. We're going to chop it up and start with the car that Vicki White and Casey White were driving that is now naturally is under scrutiny by local officials and possibly the FBI Secret Service. My first source for the evening, ABC 13 News. Vehicle of escaped Alabama inmate corrections officer found in Middle Tennessee. The vehicle used by an escaped Alabama inmate and a corrections officer believed to have helped him escape has been found in Middle Tennessee. The Williamson County Sheriff's Office reports the vehicle was found on April 29th on Smithson Road and Banner Adams Road without tags last Friday. They determined last night that it was the suspect vehicle. Fox 17 News spoke exclusively with the woman who reported the abandoned car 1 week ago. I saw there was an abandoned car, no tags on it, so I called Williamson County Sheriff's Department and told them, hey, there's a car on the road, says the Williamson County woman who wishes to stay anonymous. When she found out Friday morning whose car it belonged to, she says her phone started going crazy with the U.S. Marshal's Office and the Williamson County Sheriff's Office searching the area she lives in for hours. The woman says it's pretty scary for anyone in the community, especially with the children that live in the area. My daughter walks up and down our road because it's dead. It's a dead-end road to her grandfather's house. So I don't want her outside at all by herself, says the woman. She goes on to say it's concerning. It took authorities until last night to figure this out. When you go into this this article by ABC 13 News, you will see a map. It shows you all the local interstates from Lauderdale County Jail to Nashville. For those who are not familiar with Tennessee, Williamson County is in Middle Tennessee. So let's say Franklin, Tennessee. This city, not saying directly that that's where this is, but just giving you a synopsis. Franklin, Tennessee sits about 34 minutes outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And this is going up under Nashville. So naturally, Alabama sits underneath the state of Tennessee. So basically, they would have been going, I guess, what you would say, north or whatever to Tennessee. We also got to ask ourselves, what's the connection between that car being found in Tennessee? There have been no other sightings per police in the U.S. Marshal's Office. And the U.S. Marshal's Office is conducting the investigation. So for those of you who are familiar, who is handling this investigation, it is the U.S. Marshal's Office. Attorney General Merrick Garland said Thursday that an escaped murder suspect and jail officer who aided him are regarded as extremely dangerous. Law enforcement officials in Alabama have been working for Casey White, who was awaiting trial on a capital murder case, and Vicki White, a jail official, since they vanished after leaving the Lauderdale County Detention Center last week. The two are not related, but had a special relationship, authorities said. So for the record, for anybody new to the story, these two are not married. They are not related. They just so happen to have the same last name. Officials gave an update on the manhunt for escaped prisoner Casey White and Vicki White, a jail official who is believed to have helped with the escape. One official said he contacted the governor's office Friday morning to give the maximum reward under state law, which is $5,000 per person. Within the hour, the written request was approved. We're very hopeful that this may encourage someone to come forward, the official said. The total reward for Casey White is now at $15,000, and the total reward for Vicki White is $10,000. The total award for these two is $25,000. Vicki White escaped with the inmate. Was a great month of cash. I don't know what that means. An official adds he does not believe she had more than $90,000. So, how do you know what she had? Because I'm going to keep saying this during this live. And in general, when I'm speaking of true crime, you don't know people. So you don't know what this woman has been doing. You don't know what's in her pocketbook, because you also have to count the money she has saved in her savings and her checking account. Who's to say she didn't have $20,000, $30,000 in savings? The only money she spent the most on would be that SUV. And we do not have a dollar amount of what she spent on the SUV. The officials adds that any items they had in their vehicle, including their weapons, are believed to be with Vicki and Casey. He also said that with Vicki's background, she was able to create a calculating plan. I think this was a very well thought out plan, and her knowledge sort of put us where sort of at a loss, an official adds. He believes that Vicky has gotten new identities at this point. You know we're going to find you. Hopefully we find you safe. Turn yourself in. The official gives this message to Vicky. And I'm assuming this is coming from the sheriff because he's been the main person speaking directly to Vicki White. There's currently no indication that anyone beyond Casey White and Vicki White are involved in this incident. ABC 13 News is the source. Welcome all new visitors, subscribers, people in the chat. Thank you for joining me. I will drop the link because there's somebody who is from the town where this took place, and they would like to speak to the public to let you know what the people are talking about down in Alabama. Christine, if you're out there listening, I am live. I will drop the link. Feel free to hit the link to tell us what is going on. Give us the consensus of what people are saying in your small town. Let me recap this situation here that was mentioned in ABC 13 News. The fact that the lady found the car with no tags. You can weigh this 1,000 ways. One, they colored the car with spray paint, naturally to throw people off, because they don't know what's really going on back in the town where she left. So she has to assume word got out as soon as she put him in the car and drove him off into the sunset. But little did she know, they had no idea until later in the afternoon that they were both missing. So like they said, they had at least a 6-hour window ahead of time, ahead of officials. The car, spray painted to some degree green on the back bumper. Discarded in a rural area. Thank you, Kathy. You're welcome, sweetheart. Discarded in a rural area. Officials say they do not believe any other participants were involved inside the jail or outside of the jail of aiding Vicki White. So you got to ask the main question. Hello, everybody. Did she drop the car off there deliberately, or did the car break down? The fact that the car made it 2 hours says a lot. If we just say that this is a raggedy truck. Was there another car waiting somewhere in that rural area? Did she park it somewhere where she could get to another car? Because she had to have known that somebody was going to find out about her purchasing that car. 9 times out of 10, if she didn't pay for it full in cash with a one owner, let's say she bought it from a dealer, okay? The dealer's going to give her a drive-out tag. 2, if she purchased it from a one owner, she would then have to go to the clerk's office with the title, and they would have given her a state tag. Okay? Stay woke now. So which is it? The car she drove and abandoned in Tennessee, did it have a drive-out tag, or did it have a state Alabama tag? Because you do not know what Vicky has been doing these past couple of months. Who's to say she has not been networking in other states? But then I have to use my better judgment to say she would have to probably take off from work to start purchasing other cars from other states, setting up a home somewhere else. You want to inspect it, make sure it's proper. You're not being catfished. See, there's a lot that goes into doing stuff, planning a getaway to go underground. And yes, you can properly stay underground when you have pocket full of money. But eventually, yes, the money will run out because you're not working to supplement the money. You're not drawing welfare. You're not drawing a pension. You're not drawing a check, disability, SSI, which is soever. So that means, where are you going to get more money from to sustain yourself? Even right now, if she goes and puts money down on a house, a small house or trailer, she'll either have to buy it outright. She still will have to maintain it, such as water, gas, electric. Stay woke. Was there another car in the state of Tennessee where the car was discarded? Was there a secondary car purchased and or somebody else waiting for them? Because these two are still on the run, day 8. So that means they were able to get out of that car somewhere, something. So you have to ask all the pertinent questions. And a lot of you are really just astounded by Vicky being this person. Oh my God, she worked in the jail. She let him out, like somebody said in a comment. They didn't break out of anything. He didn't break out of jail. She didn't break him out of jail. They walked out of there. That was a very good comment, because that's the truth. There was no breaking out of nothing. He didn't crawl through the crawl space. He didn't crawl through the air vent, like Ted Bundy did years ago. They walked right out the jail on a camera, one foot in front of the other, for those that's missing this storyline. No breakout. It's just a figure of speech. She broke him out of jail. She didn't break him out of nothing. She opened door 1, door 2, opened the car door. He hopped his big tail up in there, and they drove out of that garage. That's that. And there are more Vickies in the world, for those of you who are utterly confused, astounded, astonished, baffled. There are more Vickies. There will always be a Vicky. There will always be a Casey. And that's what you need to understand. He's not special. He's a random bloke, a random guy walking around with a saggy chest like he's got boobs. I'm assuming maybe he was bigger at one time. With some tattoos. Aryan Nation, this and that. I don't care about that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't mean anything to me, because let me tell you something about people. Casey is just a lump of flesh, just like Vicky. If you were to walk up on them right now, they would look like ordinary people to you. They're just on the news because he's facing murder and the death penalty, possibly, for Connie Ridgway's murder, and doing 75 years for other crimes from 2015. And she was the transporter. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're random people. And I always say, for those who act bad, they big and bad. Well, guess what? The harder he'll fall, because he's high up, 7 feet tall. He got a long way to fall to the ground. And let me tell you, the dirt will carry his big tail. Because all they got to do is fold him up and throw him in a hole and cover him up. Do you see where I'm going with this? Ain't nothing special about Casey White or Vicky White. They're two buffoons who have broken the law like so many other criminals. Vicky White is now a criminal. Stop talking about she had a blemished record. What's your point? And then I'm not trying to be cynical, but I'm trying to make you understand the human mind. That you don't know people, and that you're upholding people that you don't know. And it doesn't matter if they're rock stars, movie stars, actors, actresses, YouTubers. The point is, we all sin, we all fornicate, we all lie, steal, rob, defraud. We are human. And that is the point of this story. It's that two humans meshed, became evenly yoked in buffoonery, and now they're on the run. Point blank. Who is Vicky White? Well, she's a chameleon. She took her mask off, finally. So you now know the real Vicky White. And as some people have said in the chat, she's calculating. She's heartless. She left behind her mother. Stay woke. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats and stickers are welcome during this live. We're going to talk more about the car. We're going to talk about aliases used. I put a correction on my video, the last video, and I said I would if I said anything in my commentary that was inaccurate. First rumor was that she used aliases to go to a prison. We now find out that has been retracted by the sheriff, that she only talked to him on the phone when he was at the other prison. I also said that she was married, and it's not. She was divorced. Obviously, she still stayed in contact, friendly with the husband, ex-husband, who passed away this year. So 2 discrepancies. She was not married at the time of her escape with this inmate. He just passed away this winter, and she never went to the prison. But what I asked on my community post is this: Who started the rumor that she was at the prison? Where are you finding out about the aliases? Bring us a receipt. Because you're now saying she used an alias to buy the car. So you know I'm going to go there. If she bought it from the dealer, yeah, they're going to want some kind of ID, your name, because you got to get tags for the damn car. You go to the dealer, you get a drive out tag from that state. If you buy one-on-one from someone, they hand you the title, you hand them the money, and then you go to the clerk's office to file for a state issue tag, which will be rendered to you when you show the title, your ID, and then they give you the damn tag. So which is it? Drive out tag or state tag was on the back of that vehicle. And some of you are still trying to ponder the spray paint. Why did she do it? Why not? She's on the run. Throw the people off. They probably know the car by now. And as I told you, she doesn't know what's going on because she's not in that town. She's on the run. She's trying to do whatever she has to do to throw law officials off. Anybody riding, seeing the car. Oh, no, that can't be the car because it's got green paint on it. That ain't it. She doesn't know what they knew. That was the purpose of putting the paint on there. But as I said before, secondary car, stowed in Tennessee, and or home bought, camper, trailer, apartment, house, or a third party aiding the two. Welcome to Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. Source number 2. Vicki White suspected of using aliases while on run with Casey White. Let me see what this video has to say here. Hold on one second, you guys. Hey, Marilyn, how you doing, everybody? Hello. Thank you all so much. Let's see what these people are talking about here. They're not saying anything, just the video of the car. All right, let's hit it. Corrections Officer Vicki White is suspected of using several different aliases while on the run with escaped capital murder suspect Casey White. During a press conference Friday, Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton was asked about reports that Vicki White was using aliases, to which he responded by saying, "We know she used aliases and we're following up on that as well. She used the alias to purchase the car," Singleton said, "so we know she has used those aliases." The U.S. Marshal Service previously issued an alert to local law enforcement agencies detailing 2 aliases that Vicki White may be using. This information was accidentally leaked to the public, which Singleton said likely prompted her to ditch them. Newsweek is not publishing the aliases per request from the U.S. Marshal Service. Well, Newsweek, sorry. Somebody mentioned them yesterday by mistake, I do believe. They've already mentioned them on the air. One started with an April something. So I'm assuming she's probably ditched those aliases and probably got some new identities Singleton added. Singleton also said that he didn't have any information on whether Vicki White used an alias to communicate with Casey White while he was in prison. Earlier in the ongoing investigation, the U.S. Marshal Service released photos of a 2007 Ford Edge. The two were believed to be driving after Vicki White abandoned her squad car in a parking lot in Lauderdale County. Let me go back to that comment. Sheriff says he doesn't know if she used the alias to contact him in prison. She doesn't need an alias if they're talking on the phone. I've already mentioned this in my lives before. So that's why we need verification. Because I'm getting a sense that somebody don't know nothing about Vicki White. And that's where you're going to have a problem. Because now you're going to have a bunch of rumors circulating when don't nobody know what the hell is going on with this lady. This is why you know she's calculating. Because you're now having to retract stuff you're putting out about her. Yeah, she went to the prison. Yeah, she used alias. Oh, no, gotta take it back. No, she wasn't using no alias. No, he was talking to her on the phone. Well, which is it? She went to the damn prison or not? She used an alias or not? She used more than one alias or not? What did I tell you all yesterday? She ain't getting ready to be using no damn aliases to go see him when she's going to still look like herself going in the damn prison. You think somebody's not going to look at her and say, "Man, why you got that wig on today? Man, why you trying to disguise yourself? Oh, you changed her look." Come on now. Stay woke. Who is she? Because I don't think you all really know who the hell you're talking about. And I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm just saying. What do you know about her? She worked at the jail. Well, she went in that job late in life. She's 56 years old. I think you all know how to do math. 17 and 56, what you get? She's almost 40. Why? What was she doing before this job? See, I ask everything. Because I know in between jobs, relationships, is how you're going to learn who Vicki White really is. Or who you all thought she was. She's a chameleon. It's the bottom line. Okay. However, on Friday, the Williamson County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee announced they had previously discovered the SUV in Bethesda, Tennessee. The SUV was discovered several days before the U.S. Marshal released information on the model and color, officials said. Now there's discrepancy about they wish they hadn't said anything too soon. Why not? Do you want them caught or not? See, this is where I'm starting to get slightly irritated because you say, well, we didn't want that information out yet about the car. Why not? She's on the run with a fugitive inmate. You don't want the public to know what kind of car they're in. They left on a Friday. They had a 6-hour window ahead of law officials. And then when all this jumped off Tuesday, you say, well, we didn't want that out just yet. Well, hell, when did you want to tell people that they were on the damn run? He likes to shoot people, cut people. She probably knows how to use a gun herself. Don't let the 5'5" height fool you, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to pull the trigger. So what the hell are y'all trying to tell us? You want her found, you don't want her found. You want him found, you want him found. I don't know. Because my thing is, they're on the run. You should want the public to know what kind of car they were in. That's why you don't know where they are right now. Because she planned this. She planned this. For those who think he's coerced her and forced her to do this. And we're going to get to that too. There's no sign the two are still in our area. The SUV was reported abandoned a week ago. It was identified last night. The Williamson County Sheriff's Office said on Friday. During the press conference, Singleton said that the discovery of the SUV brought the ongoing manhunt back to square one as far as the vehicle description. Right now, we are trying to canvass the area for any witnesses. Singleton added in regard to the vehicle's discovery in Tennessee. On Friday, Lauderdale County District Attorney Chris Conley also revealed that investigators believe Vicki White withdrew $90,000 from several local banks in the county. In addition to the $90,000, Vicki White also sold her house for roughly $95,000 several days before allegedly assisting Casey White escape from jail. In an update on Thursday, the U.S. Marshal Service shared several new pictures of Casey White, as well as a new picture of what Vicki White could look like if she dyed her hair a darker color. Vicki White is 5 feet 5 inches, weighs approximately 145 pounds, blonde hair, but may have tinted it or a darker shade, and brown eyes. Reportedly has a waddling gait, the U.S. Marshals Service said. That's said information by Newsweek. You don't know what she looks like. You got rumors circulating that she might be pushing him in a wheelchair. Let me talk to you all for a minute. I have never been on a run, but I'm woke. And let me talk to some of you, because some of you probably just don't really know the mind of a criminal. You don't know how they think. You don't know how they navigate. The first rule of being on the run for anything is to keep your mouth closed, not to talk to anybody. Don't talk to nobody on the phone. Don't call nobody. Don't say nothing about nothing. Don't say nothing about where you ever live. The first thing to keep you safe from being apprehended is called pocket change. You need a bag of money. That is the advantage that Vicky and Casey have in this situation. They have a bag of money. See, desperate people do desperate things, and that's how desperate people get apprehended. They've got to get the money to stay underground. Well, they got some money. So they got money to stay underground. Naturally, she's not going to be pushing this big-ass man around in a damn wheelchair. For what reason? We don't even know if they're staying anywhere, such as apartment, studio, house, trailer, camper, Airbnb, cabin. Stay woke. He will lay underground while she is visible. because she can disguise herself way better than he. Some of you think he may be dressed in drag and all this old crazy nonsense. Please stop. Don't do this. Don't do this. That man ain't about to dress up in no damn drag because he ain't about to be outside. If he dresses in drag, he will do it inside just in case somebody come knocking at a door, camper door, apartment door, stay woke. But he ain't going outside wandering around just because he knows he's 6'9" and very visible. Even with a mask on, hat on, cowboy hat on. As some gentleman said about Vicky, and he made a very valid point. I want you all to listen to me very carefully because this is the real deal here. Vicky looks older than 56. I think some of you know where I'm going with this. She can easily dye her hair gray, tint her hair gray, and look like an elderly, feeble woman. Get a cane, buy a silver wig, or she could be dressed like a guy. She already has a waddling gait. She looks rather masculine. She doesn't wear makeup. Stay woke. Fake beard, fake mustache. So now you got two men together. See, y'all are all on this other crazy stuff. I don't speculate nothing because I don't know nothing. And there's been no proof to nothing. But what I'm trying to make you understand, she ain't getting ready to push that man around in no damn wheelchair. For what reason? They're trying to stay underground. I'm not going to take him out in public and push his big tail around in no damn wheelchair. For what? What you trying to say? They're in San Diego? They're at the beach? Hell no. They ain't at no damn beach. She ain't pushing him around in no damn wheelchair. You all are reaching. Let's bring it back to earth, okay? Let's bring it back to earth. He's a big man. He's visible. She's a short, petite person. They are going to be totally incognito, laying low for that very reason. He has no reason to be visible. If they need anything, she will be the one to go out and fetch it. She will be the one disguised. He will be somewhere laying low, waiting on her, unless he's already ditched her. And he knows really he needs her because he stands out. He could keep the money. It could serve him well, of course, naturally. But he would have to stay in that garb all day long. Mask on all day long. Never take it off. Never take off shades. Never take off a baseball cap. Keep a beard on. All it takes is one nosy Parker to keep eyeing him and say, something's not right about him, because people do it all the time. Stay woke. Let's play some audio. I'll be playing several audios in the YouTube queue pertaining to this very baffling story coming out of Alabama. Where are they? Day 8. Casey and Vicki White are still on the run. Same last name, but not married. And I want to clarify discrepancies in my lives pertaining to her being married. It says now by the sheriff she is divorced and the husband passed away recently. Discrepancy number 2. She did not use aliases to see him in the other prison. Just they talked on the phone. And naturally, you don't need an alias to have somebody call your landline or your cell phone. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see what we can get started here. Going to be playing you several videos. If you need verification, everything's in the YouTube queue. I put a post up and I asked a question to the chat. I said, the conversation with the mother in an interview, what is missing from the conversation? I'm going to go ahead and knock that one out the ballpark. What is missing in the conversation with the interviewer? One person commented, then another person commented. The second person who commented on my post got it right. I'm going to play you the interview with the mother, and I want somebody in the chat to figure it out, what's missing from the conversation. WAAY TV 31 News is the source. Mother, Vicki White called to check on her dog before disappearing with murder suspect. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans, everybody.
Davis says her daughter had been staying with her for 5 weeks now, ever since her daughter sold her home. But she didn't notice anything different about Vicky and even spoke to her the morning she went missing.
I talked to her that morning. She called to ask me about the dog because he'd been sick.
The last phone call Pat Davis had with her daughter, Vicki White, was a routine call about her dog.
I just called to check on him, just normal like. And then I texted her at 1 o'clock to tell her that I was cooking supper, but she didn't respond.
Vicky never returned home for supper and has been missing for more than 72 hours now. Davis says Vicky had been living at her house for the past 5 weeks, ever since Vicky sold her own house.
I told her she could stay as long as she wanted to, because she was my daughter.
But she didn't notice anything different about her daughter, saying she kept up with her routine of waking up early, heading to work at the jail, and coming back home for dinner.
And I just didn't notice anything about her, you know.
Vicky didn't talk about work much, never mentioning retirement to her mother, and never bringing up Inmate White.
She didn't say nothing to us about it.
Leaving her mother searching for answers.
This is just not her. This is like a total day and night.
Day and night. Oh, sorry.
Return home safely. She'll even go pick her up herself if Vicky just gives her a call. Reporting live in studio, Nicole Zedek, White 31 News.
All right, everybody. That's audio source number 1, WAAY TV 31. What is missing from this conversation between the interviewer and the mother of Vicki White? I'll wait. 125 in the room. Come on, you all. Let's amp it up now. Hello, everybody. Hello, Curtis. I'm well, baby. Thank you. Thanks for asking. During this conversation, what is missing from the conversation? I didn't see anything. I didn't notice anything. She has the same routine. She sold her house. She's been with me for 5 weeks. She never said anything about retiring, and she never said anything about the inmate. What is missing from the conversation with the mother in this interview? I can't believe y'all don't see it. Come on, you guys. She's been living with me for 5 weeks. I ain't noticed nothing. She's my daughter. She can stay here. She can stay here. She's my daughter. I'm going to tell you what's missing from this conversation. She never mentioned during this interview what her daughter said why she sold her house. Bingo card. So I'm going to ask the mother directly. Mommy, what reason did your daughter tell you she sold the house? Because my understanding is that she lived next door. So why would the daughter need to sell her house and she lives next door to the mother? So she never told you about the inmate. She never told you about retiring. So now we have to ask, did she tell you why she was selling the house? 2, if she didn't give a reason, did you ask her, why are you selling your house? So you have to ask all the basic questions in true crime. Because the mother is just talking and talking and talking, but that's the one thing she doesn't mention in the interview. I didn't notice anything. I didn't suspect anything until she decided to sell her damn house. Because most parents would probably ask, well, hell, you live next door. What you selling your house for what? Why are you selling your house? You just want to stay with your mom or what? What's the matter? The mother's not senile. She talked very fine right here in this interview. She didn't appear senile to me. You all are missing the point. What did she tell her mother about the house? Why she sold the house? Where are her belongings? Where is her furniture, toaster, blender? What did she do with all that stuff? Is it in storage? See, this is what I'm trying to make you understand is that when people say, I didn't notice anything, I didn't see anything. Oh, you probably noticed something. You just didn't pay attention or cared at that time. Exactly, Mary. The average person would ask, why are you selling your house? Don't you get it? She didn't even mention it in this interview. Because if I was a reporter, I would have asked, excuse me, ma'am, you didn't question your daughter why she was selling her house, why she wanted to move in with you? And the fact that the mother said she didn't notice anything, she had a routine of coming home, eating dinner, probably walking the dog, going to bed, back up again to the jail, should tell you something about Vicki White. She's a chameleon. She's just as diabolical, probably crazy as Casey. But you didn't see it. You didn't smell it. She smells all the time. She's nice. She's a really nice lady. Isn't that what the ladies were saying? But in the end, you don't know her. Her mother said day and night. Had no clue. Yes, Barry says, I would ask my daughter what's going on exactly. But the mother may have just been happy to have the daughter in the house with her. But like I said, what difference does it make? If she lived next door to me, it's the same damn thing. Walk across the lawn, there's my daughter. Stay woke. It's the mother telling the truth. Because, you know, some people will uphold their children even when they're older and doing wrong. Is this woman telling the truth that she knew nothing about her going on a run with this inmate? And it's not to say anything negative about the mother. It's just people don't tell you everything. And if the daughter can lie, hell, the mama can lie too. I'm just saying. Because we really don't know these people. And it's not to disrespect the mother, but I've learned people will aid people. People will cover for people. And I've learned that some people, hell, they're just good damn liars. And Vicki White is that person. She wore a mask for many years. And nobody saw through the mask. And that is why she was able to get Casey White out of that jail. Stay woke. Thank you for joining me. Video number 2. What we know so far. WHNT News 19 is the source. Yes, Frank, she doesn't sound worried at all. May not be. And I don't have to worry if I already know you're going to contact me some type of way. Stay woke.
It's been a week. I wish we'd had them back in custody within hours. But, we just have to work with what we got.
Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton says it's back to square one on day 8 of the search for Casey and Vicki White. That's where we start News 19 at 9. I'm Emily Forrester.
And I'm Greg Screws. And the vehicle Casey White and Vicki White used to leave Lauderdale County has now been found. And you don't have to be Matlock to know what the big question is. Where are they right now?
Lauderdale County's sheriff says Vicki and Casey White dumped her patrol car for a rust-colored 2007 Ford Edge at a nearby shopping center in Florence minutes after they left the Lauderdale County Detention Center. Now, that Ford Edge was found in a rural area of Williamson County, Tennessee, nearly 100 miles away from the jail.
So check the map out. It shows just how far they were able to drive after leaving the jail before ditching that car in Bethesda, Tennessee. Now, the area there is very rural. Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton described it as, quote, being in the middle of nowhere. The vehicle was found near an intersection of Smithson Road and Banner Adams Road. That's a little more than 4 miles east of I-65 at the Spring Hill exit. So Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton believes Vicki White and Casey White drove straight from the Lauderdale County Jail to Williamson County up in Tennessee, where they then had to abandon the vehicle.
And notably, the car was abandoned before the sheriff's office ever realized the two were missing. Sheriff Singleton says the vehicle had been found the same day Casey and Vicki White escaped from the jail, and it was towed almost an hour before officials in Lauderdale County realized the two were even missing and then began searching for them.
The Williamson County Sheriff's Office contacted agents with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to report the vehicle had been located between 11 o'clock and midnight yesterday. Sheriff Singleton says nothing of note was found in the vehicle, and because of this, officials believe Casey White and Vicki White are still in possession of several weapons, including her 9mm pistol, an AR-15, and a shotgun. The two also attempted to spray paint the car a dark green color.
Now, the sheriff says there have been no credible sightings of Casey or Vicki White since last Friday morning. Sheriff Singleton says law enforcement officers are scanning and combing over the area where that vehicle was found for any possible leads.
So as the search for Vicki White and Casey White continues, new photos have been released about the inmate's appearance and what the Assistant Director of Corrections may look like now. So the new photos have been released of Casey White, who escaped the jail last Friday with Vicki White. The tattoos on his arm are in black ink and include imagery of several skulls.
He also has tattoos on his chest and a shoulder tattoo on his right arm, and he has a Confederate flag tattoo between his shoulders. Officials believe he is affiliated with the Alabama-based white supremacist prison gang Southern Brotherhood. Now, they don't know this for sure, but U.S. Marshals believe Vicki could have dyed her hair from blonde to a darker brown color. They also believe she may have cut it to try to make herself less recognizable. Now, we have said it before and will continue to say it that Vicki and Casey White, both considered armed and dangerous. If you see them, do not approach them, just call 911.
So today, Governor Ivey announced a $10,000 reward for information leading to the capture and arrest of both Casey White and Vicki White. That, plus the rewards from the U.S. Marshal, brings the total reward money being offered to $25,000.
Now, News 19 will continue to follow this story around the clock and bring you the latest developments. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll have more on this story from News 19's Archie Snowden in Tennessee. Now, we do have full coverage of this case for you on our website. All you have to do is go to WHNT.com and click on the section we have for you there called Manhunt, Inmate, and Former Jailer. We have all those stories there related to the search for Casey and Vicki White.
Rising prices.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. That source is WHNT News 19. Ooh, Lord have mercy. What a mess. So the first interview I played is of the mother, saying she didn't sense anything wrong. The second one is by News 19, what we know so far. What is the connection to Tennessee? You know, we've got a lot of states that neighbor each other. That's why it's called state to state. So what you have to ask yourself is, why did they drive to Tennessee? Because you've got Mississippi. You've got Georgia. Why not drive to Georgia? Why not drive to Georgia? Georgia is next to Alabama. Stay woke. Are they in the state of Tennessee? What are the ties to Tennessee? Or is this just a bypass to get to the next state, which could be Kentucky, Virginia? Stay woke. North Carolina, South Carolina, Missouri. See, the possibilities are endless. And when you've got a pocket full of dough, they're definitely going to be endless. Source number 3, News Nation, Prime, Inside the Mind of a Fugitive. Listen very carefully to this content, because this is how Vicky came to be who she is today. A random woman on the run who aided an inmate out of a jail where she worked and had authority, but not authority to let him out. Thank you for joining me. News Nation.
The search for Casey
White and Vicky White, not related, is getting more intense by the day. This couple could be anywhere, and they could be gaining ground as we speak right now. It is important to note that this is far from your average manhunt. Casey White is a dangerous fugitive, as we continue to lay out, with a long rap sheet. Not only is he convicted of murder or charged with murder, he went on a crime spree in Alabama in 2015, then stole an SUV and drove to a rest stop in Tennessee, where he then tried to carjack a semi-truck and then opened fire after that. Casey is no stranger to being on the run. Vicky may know a thing or two about evading authorities herself with her experience in law enforcement. But if there is anyone who knows who these two are, it's my next two guests, Sheriff Kyle Helton and Lieutenant Shane Hunter from Giles County, Tennessee. To you both, welcome, and thank you for being part of this special coverage tonight of this manhunt. They could be anywhere. Lieutenant, I want to start with you. You've been face-to-face with Casey White. What is your message to the public tonight?
Well, obviously, I had a lot of interaction with Casey after the crime spree and had the opportunity to sit down and talk with him and process what had occurred on that particular night. And obviously, you know, Casey admitted to his mental issues that he had, and obviously his addiction to drugs. And the two, when mixed together, obviously Casey is extremely volatile. That particular night, obviously, he'd been off his medication for a lengthy period of time and had introduced meth. So when those two together, obviously, Casey became a very dangerous person that particular evening.
Take us back to 2015 when he was cornered by police at that point after Connie Ridgway's murder, a chase. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, so obviously he transferred over into Tennessee from the crime spree there in Alabama, came to a rest stop here in Tennessee where he had approached the truck driver, tried to apprehend and actually make that truck driver drive the vehicle. And his own words were that law enforcement would not be looking for me in an 18-wheeler. Once he realized that that person was not going to provide that vehicle very easily, he moved on to the next person, which would have been a female. She's seen him approach with a gun in his hand. She locked the door and then attempted to flee from him, and that's when he began to open fire upon her. He then left the area and then continued north on I-65, where then he carjacked a vehicle. Once inside that vehicle, he proceeded back on I-65 south, where he entered back into Limestone County, where a pursuit began with Limestone County, and then ultimately he wrecked the vehicle, and then ultimately got out of the vehicle. And obviously he had requested Sheriff Blakely to come to the scene, which ultimately happened. Obviously there's a lot of intense moments, and in fact, in Casey's own words, when I interviewed him that particular night, his intentions were to make law enforcement kill him.
Which makes him even more dangerous tonight because, as we've said before, and you both know this, he has nothing to lose. He is facing capital murder charges and the death penalty once he is caught. He has been described as someone who has no regard for his own life and also for the life of others. Would you both agree with that?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
What else stands out to you? Go ahead.
Yeah, he has no regard for human life whatsoever. You know, if somebody's cornered, if he's cornered, then obviously he's going to resort to whatever means he may have at his choosing to try to render that situation in his favor.
Sheriff, what was your reaction when you heard that Casey White had escaped, knowing that he had a plan to escape and had extra security supposed to be on him because of that plan?
Well, it was real concerning from the standpoint of our, as a matter of fact, Lieutenant Hunter was the one who contacted me, excuse me, and notified me about it. And I do remember that night the bedlam that was in the county. I'd already contacted other officers that were off duty to get active because we had already had two spots that he had did the shooting at the rest area, and then carjacked at the pilot at the exit 22. But we didn't, at that time, we didn't know where he was at and where he was going. So we wanted to cover the county best we could. And probably about 30 minutes after that was when we found that Limestone County had found the car that he had just stolen, and then the pursuit started with them.
So to you both tonight, he could be anywhere, but he was pretty close to Tennessee when this all started, and that car was abandoned in Tennessee. So I would imagine you're on the lookout for him. What is your message to the public tonight if anybody comes in contact with him, and the message to law enforcement in your jurisdiction or elsewhere of what he's capable of?
He's capable of anything. If the public has a clue or think that it's him, just call 911. Do not try to approach or do not try to deal with somebody like that. And in law enforcement, I know that it's promoted all over the country. So, and he is the type person that it's going to be hard to hide. So everybody's on alert and real cautious.
Well, he's going to come up for air at some point. Let's just hope it doesn't end badly. Sheriff Kyle Helton and Lieutenant Shane Hunter, we appreciate you giving us some time tonight. Thank you, and good luck as you help in the search as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
All right, everybody. Here we go. Let's talk about what was mentioned in this commentary. The semi-truck that he tried to steal. Can he drive a semi-truck, or was he just desperate? Desperate to try to rob anybody. What are the ties to Tennessee? Did he grow up in Tennessee? Because they said something about the sheriff knowing him when they were trying to apprehend him during this crime spree in 2015. So what is the issue with Tennessee? Because I kind of feel like there's like some connection to them going to Tennessee. Because like I said, Georgia is next door to Alabama. Why didn't they go over to Georgia, drop the car off? If indeed the car was deliberately planted and or broke down, why not go through Georgia? Very interesting information. It is mentioned that he was off meds and meth at the time when he went on the spree. So what is his mental condition? What has he been diagnosed with? What has he been diagnosed with? Is he bipolar, dissociative personality? What are we talking about? How long has he had a mental problem? 2, like I said, has he been diagnosed? How long has he used meth? How long has he been a drug user? Does he interchange with other drugs? Meth and meds. Very, very crazy nonsense. Off his meds. So how long was he off his meds at the time of the crime spree? Using both at the same time. Well, meth, and then no drugs for his mental issues. So what are the issues? And will he be wanting drugs now? Because somebody mentioned that in the chat. And I did think about that today for some weird reason. I said to myself, what if he wanted to go get high? How's that going to work? Will he be able to talk her into giving him the money to go buy drugs? Which that would be risque, going in some area that you are unfamiliar with, trying to purchase drugs, especially being a white man, 7 foot, almost 7 feet tall. Not trying to be seen by people. So would he use her to go get the drugs? See, there's a lot of questions you can ask because it has been said he wasn't a drug user. So would he use her? Hey, I got to get high. I need something. Take the edge off. You go buy it. Let's go ride around. That's a good way to get caught. Happy Mother's Day to everybody too. Thank you. Thank you, King of Streets. Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the ladies in the chat. So thank you, honey. Is he now back using drugs? Because naturally they have money. Are they still together? That's probably question number 1. Where are they? Are they still together? Has he harmed her? Has he turned on her? Has she now started doing something illegal with him, because as I told you, they've got a little bit of a nest egg, but eventually if they find somewhere to stay, rent something or bought something, you still have to have income coming in to maintain the place where you are. What is the connection to Tennessee? Because they said the sheriff knew him as a kid and he was able to talk him down to put the weapon down. It's very riveting information. We're now going to go to the next source pertaining to this crazy fiasco. So I played 1, 2, 3 videos. We're now on video number 4. News Nation is the source. This one is about Casey White's victim's son, Miss Connie Ridgway. Her son has now given an interview to News Nation Prime. Thank you for joining me.
Police found the mother stabbed to death in her living room. Investigators called it a murder for hire, and Casey would later confess to the crime 5 years later. He now faces the death penalty. Austin Williams is Connie Ridgway's son, and he is joining us live tonight. Austin, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. And first of all, I'm very, very sorry about your mom and that you have to go through this with Casey on the run.
Thank you.
Do you believe that Casey will come after you? Are you afraid?
I don't believe I'm a target, but I'm afraid that he's a very dangerous person.
What went through your mind when you got the news that he had escaped?
I don't even really know what was going through my mind. It was just so shocking. I know it took me a while just to comprehend it, but it's so shocking.
Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know about Casey.
I know he has a very, very violent history. I know he's been in jail several times. He's been very violent. I know he's attacked his brother and his ex-girlfriend, and just a very, very violent history.
Austin, what were the circumstances around your mom's death? Was it random? What more can you share?
Well, it's the only thing I could think of. It could possibly be random. It's just that she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And she's such a gentle, sweet, Southern Christian lady. There's just, who in the world could have anything against her?
And she was killed in her home.
Yes, that's correct.
How long after your mom was murdered did they find Casey and tie him to her death?
It wasn't until he confessed. We really had no idea for about 5 years.
Did you know, Austin, about his plans to escape, that he wanted so desperately out and that it required extra security because he had threatened to escape?
No, I didn't know that. I would imagine that he would have extra security because he tried to escape, the first time he was in Lauderdale County for his arraignment.
Are you in touch with authorities as they search for him? Have they been in communication with you?
Yeah, they're very good at communicating. I'm aware of a kind of high level what's going on.
Well, we obviously know what he is capable of, so I won't even ask you that. But for you, all these years later, what does justice look like for your family?
Well, justice looks like him having the chance to go to trial and have everything decided in the court of law, whether or not he's innocent or guilty. I believe he is very likely guilty, but I would not want an innocent person to be punished for something they didn't do. So I really do want to go to trial and to go to court.
And we don't want an innocent person, another one, to die as he is still out there. Austin Williams, again, thank you for talking to us. And my thoughts are with you and your family as you go through the hardship of knowing that he's out there and accused of what he did to your mom.
Yeah, thank you. It means a whole lot. I appreciate that.
Thanks for watching. Click the red.
Okay, we're going to chop up this situation. This is Connie Ridgway's son. So what we have to ask ourselves, did he kill this woman? That is why he was arraigned in court, Lauderdale, to stand trial. But now that trial is going to be pushed up back or whatever because he's now on the run. And you heard the sheriff saying they want to hurry up and find him so they can get justice. My thing is, you got to find him first. Find him first, find her, both of them, whichsoever. Somebody in the chat is questioning about why confess to a crime if you didn't. Well, the first thing I thought was maybe he, at the time, this is just hypothetical, felt like, well, I'm already doing 75 years. I'm just going to go ahead and tell him the truth about this lady's death. Then the flip side of that could be he was already entangled with Vicky. He knew of her position at the jail, and he thought maybe he could use her to get him out, which is what he has done. So you can weigh it at least two different ways pertaining to why he confessed. But the crazy part is he's retracted the confession. I don't know what the hell's wrong with this guy. Tell you the truth. I don't know. Having a clue. That's why I said you can chop it up 1,000 different ways to try to figure out why. But I think he may have set his mark on her, said, you know, hey, she's got this position. She has access to transporting us around, because you got to remember when he first went to the jail in Lauderdale, he knew of her. He saw how she worked, navigated. He saw her position, and maybe he was obviously laying it on thick the first time he went into that jail. So remember, they're saying they corresponded thereafter when he left out of there because he tried to escape from there and had a shank. So the new protocol was to have 2 officers escort inmates in the jail. So now you have to ask yourselves, when he left the first time, was everybody following protocol? Was she following protocol? Or when he came back this time for the arraignment, she just said, the hell with it, I'm going to do what I want because I'm in authority. Very strange. That's information coming out from The Sun. For those who are not familiar, wondering who that guy that was speaking in this audio, everything's posted to my community post if you need information. Thank you all so much for joining me. Ooh, it's a lot to deal with. All right, next, they're talking about photos, renderings of what they think she may look like. Dark hair, long hair, bangs, no bangs. And that's one guy's going to say, hey, who's to say she's not walking around with gray hair? Because she does look older for her age of 56. I don't know if she's turning 57 this year or if her birthday is already passed. But Vicky looks older. So imagine her in a gray wig, hair dyed gray, walking around like somebody said, gray hair, granny clothes, older style, hairstyle, put on some heavy rim glasses. You wouldn't even know it's her. Put on some wild lipstick, eyeshadow. You wouldn't recognize her. Because imagine if she's not the type to wear makeup. Well, she probably would start wearing it now to disguise herself, wearing a mask, eyewear, eyelashes, different color hair, different style of hair, like somebody said in the chat, red hair, red curly hair. She could wear anything. Wear her hair any type of way, style it any type of way. This is the next audio from News Nation. Thank you for joining me.
Jailbreak that's launched what's now a week-old manhunt isn't much of a mystery. We know exactly how Casey White got from one side of the bars to the other. Even so, there is a story there of a hardened con facing life in prison or potentially even death, somehow enticing a career corrections officer to throw it all away for a life on the lam with him. And even if Casey White isn't around to tell his tale, it's possible that the newly released pictures of his tattoos, it's possible those pictures tell us everything. Joining us now, Larry Levine, who served 10 years in 11 different institutions for offenses ranging from drugs and racketeering to securities fraud. He now runs his own firm called Wall Street Prison Consultants, and he knows a lot about the inside. I'm also pleased to welcome Nikki Simpson. She's previously the host of Ink Master Angels and is currently the owner of Everblack Tattoo Studio in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to both of you. Nikki, I'm going to start with you. You've had a chance to take a look over Casey White's tattoos. What does it say to you? What do you see in those tattoos?
Right. So upon looking at everything, I do see some common imagery that I see in a lot of prison tattoos that don't necessarily speak racism as for example, the skulls and the flames. A lot of people get that kind of stuff, but looking closer, I can see on his inner bicep, it looks like he has a double lightning bolt SS kind of looking tattoo, which is very much associated with white supremacy. And on his right side of his chest, it looks like he has a coat of arms with a swastika and another set of lightning bolts, which is obviously racist associated. And on the back, it looks like he has a Confederate flag with, I think it says Southern Pride or something like that. The thing about that is it's hard to tell, if that's if that was done in prison, or if he got that beforehand or anything, or if it was racially motivated. But I think one could safely assume that with the combination of the Confederate flag, the swastikas, the lightning bolts, Casey was definitely associated with white supremacy groups.
I mean, it looked like that to me, and I don't know, very much about, tattoo art at all, but just an average guy might be able to notice that. Larry, in prison, tattoos are a big deal. They're a huge deal, and there's kind of a map, and I've seen the spider webs on the elbow, etc. But walk me through what some of those tattoos mean.
Affiliations with different gangs, things that they've done. In other words, if you see somebody with 3 dots, let's say on their eye or on their hand, my crazy life. If they have 5 dots, it means they've served time. The swastikas, they do indicate white supremacists. I looked at all the images. I don't see that he's like Aryan Brotherhood or anything, because he doesn't have an AB on him. And what we need to realize is that the inmates, they'll take chess pieces and they'll melt the chess pieces down in baby oil. They'll take a guitar string and they'll use that to make tattoos. So I would estimate that the stars and bars, the Confederate flag on his neck or back was done on the outside, but the rest of the tats were probably done on the inside. And it's all contraband. It's against rules and policy to get tattoos, but everybody seems to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Larry, I know about the melting down. That's usually the black ink. You can't get color ink necessarily in prison, can you, Larry?
Well, they could get like a Sharpie marker. They could get a red pen and take the ink from that. They use baby oil. They boil it. And they could. But I don't think that generally works out real well. The tattoo artist, she would know more about that than I would.
Nikki, jump in there and tell me about how they craft these different, looks in prison. I've always seen mostly dark ink.
Yeah, so that's something else that I was. Thanks. That's something else that I was, looking at and thinking about because, at my studio we also do laser tattoo removal on any gang-related or racist type of tattoos, and I would say about 99% of them are just with black ink, and that's mostly because when you're inside, you have very limited means to creating ink that is going to be of any quality. So I don't assume that Casey got tattooed at a normal shop, because as a tattooer, we would never accept something like that to come through our doors. So I can assume that he maybe got it outside of prison. He could have had it snuck in. I'm not sure, but a lot of times you see people taking paper and burning it with soot and kind of mixing it with some kind of medium, like, I don't know, Vaseline or any other kind of oil or something like that. So you can definitely tell that most of his tattoos, given how broken up everything is and scratchy and how it looks so aged, that's a common sign of something that was definitely done in prison.
They're pretty crude, guys. I have to leave it there, but I could talk about this. I could talk about this all night. And since I have a feeling these guys might be on the run for a while, I'd love to have you back. Thank you, Larry Levine. Thank you, Nikki Simpson.
Thank you so much.
Great to be with you.
Good to see you both. Thank you for watching. Click the.
All right, those were guests. A guy who's been in penitentiary before, and a lady who owns a tattoo shop in Brooklyn, New York, and starred on a reality TV show. Let's go there. I don't really care about the tattoo situation. The pictures that I saw, he looks like he's maybe possibly have been bigger because he has a chest that's sagging. And I saw some of you making comments about the B-size bra cup in the chat yesterday. Yes, he probably is ready for a bra, a brassiere. He also looks like he has some type of skin disorder, psoriasis or something going on with his skin. And naturally, you don't get the adequate care in jail because you're using whatever soaps they give you, the detergent they use. I'm sure it's pretty harsh for cleaning their, garments. So his skin will probably flare up being incarcerated, not getting adequate medical attention and using, creams and ointments because he probably has to pay for it because I don't think they'll care if you got psoriasis or not. They may or may not. I'm not sure. But this Aryan Brotherhood, Southern Brotherhood business, that means nothing to me because I don't care. I don't care what group he's affiliated with. I don't really care what he has going on. To me, he's a nobody. And I've said that already. It doesn't even matter. Casey is 1,000. There's so many Caseys running around. And as you see now, there's a lot of Vickies running around as well. And as I said, people do all type of crazy things for attention, affection, love, whatever word you want to call it, lust. They get caught up. And that's for the hater in the group that thinks they know what's going on. Everybody thinks they know everything about what's going on. They don't know nothing. Okay. Vicki White's double life revealed. This is Banfield News Nation.
I just said it. It's been a long week, and a week is a long time anyway to be on the run. And ask any former fugitive, and they'll tell you spend almost every minute looking over your shoulder. And then there's that small detail about food and lodgings. They need them. And that usually involves face-to-face interaction with other people. Not good. Law enforcement has admitted that the duo has been steps ahead of them all along the way, and they do have almost $100,000 in cash, which makes things a lot easier. Digital footprints are pretty tough now and not the easiest way to catch them. But Chris Swecker may have a few ideas. He's the former assistant director of the FBI Criminal Investigations Unit, and he led the successful search for the Olympic Park bomber, Eric Rudolph. Okay, Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight because, this is sort of just mystifying, right? Like they seem to be clever enough to have cash on hand, knowing full well that the digital footprint always catches up with you. And obviously they had some kind of plan for a vehicle. I'm not sure if their plan went awry, but what are your thoughts just about the amount of cash they have and how long that could last them?
Yeah, with at least the $95,000 that Vicki White got from her house, or sort of the fire sale of her house, they can hole up in a cabin somewhere in Tennessee or Western North Carolina, somewhere in a remote area, rent it on Airbnb, not have to do it face to face, or one of the other rental sites where you don't have to show an ID. You just have to have a credit card, and you put your money down and you show up. So I think that this was pretty well planned out. I don't think they're moving around at all right now. They may have had an unexpected mishap with the car. Apparently, it had mechanical problems in the middle of a rural country road, so they had to improvise from there. But they either carjacked someone or they went out and bought another car.
Okay, that's exactly what I was about to ask you. What do you think happened? Because when you see pictures of that orange Ford, it's in a lot somewhere, but that's only because a wrecker came and towed it from the middle of a rural road because traffic couldn't get around it. And then there's that green paint on it. So I'm trying to sort of get inside the mind of these two. And I'm wondering if they had planned to
paint that car somewhere along the way so that they could keep using it, but that part of the plan fell through. Maybe they were mid-painting, or maybe they thought, let's leave it here and paint it. What do you make of that partially done paint job?
Yeah, not too impressed with that, really. I mean, I think that was a haphazard attempt to disguise the car in case that Vicky knew probably that car's description was going to go out at some point. And they did a very amateurish job of trying to disguise it just enough to throw people off. But what they didn't count on, she bought a 2007 car, a really cheap car, and it didn't get very far. So there's planning here, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's at the Mensa level.
Okay, so now go back to that moment that they're on the road, and damn it, Vicky, the car you bought is a lemon. Who knows if it got violent then, because he's certainly a violent guy. Right. But you mentioned the carjacking, because that's what I thought. They cleared everything out of that car, Chris. When the police looked in it, it is clean. And you know that they had supplies, right? When she left with him and switched cars, that car was stocked to make sure that they had what they needed to be on the run. And it's not stocked anymore. So what's your estimation of how they got out of that rural road with a lemon beater that was stalled in the middle of the road and all that gear, luggage, boxes, whatever?
This was Friday, so it was pretty early in this case. And they could have just hitched a ride. Some good Samaritan picked him up. Given this guy's history, I think it's more likely that they carjacked somebody, which scares me a little bit. That usually doesn't end well. I suspect they rented a place ahead of time.
Yes,
they couldn't possibly have planned everything except where they were going to go. They had somewhere to go. And they had the money to rent a place. So I think they're holed up somewhere, and I think they realize they can't move around. They're following the media, they're following the internet, they're following the search. They could be watching us right now. So I think they realized, if they didn't earlier, that they can't be going about moving around.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button.
All right, that's Banfield. Check out News Nation. They give very good commentary, unbiased. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. All super chats and stickers are welcome during this live. Let's chop it up. Where are they? Was that car parked as a ruse, or it did break down? I mean, hell, it made it 2 hours. Just imagine if the car actually broke down, and broke down like very close proximity to where she had parked the truck. They would have been in a world of trouble. Did they rent somewhere to live? Airbnb, a cabin, apartment, studio, what? That's why I said this could go deeper than just the fake IDs and what are we talking about? Because see, we don't know anything, because we don't even know where they are. We don't know if she rented a place out of town, out of Alabama. Common sense would tell her to do that. Or buy a place would be better. Buy a cheap trailer. Because who's to say she hasn't done this already? Thank you, Carlette. Thank you. Who's to say she didn't do all this beforehand? Because see, that's the thing we don't understand is, because we don't have any information. What has she done beforehand to stay on the run? Did she buy a place beforehand? Cabin, trailer? Because to me, that would have made more sense to buy something beforehand. That way you don't have to be walking around trying to find a place to hold up in and pray that nobody recognizes you going in a hotel room, Airbnb, or whatever, with this tall guy. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, he was disguised when they got out of the patrol car. You know, she had to have him disguised in some clothes, mask, hat, sunglasses. She had that. She had that for herself. And once again, was the car deliberately discarded, or it broke down in that rural area in Tennessee? What is the connection to Tennessee? Why come in this state unless you're going to states that sit above Tennessee, which is Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio? I think most of you know the map. Where were they going? Are they still in the South? All right, I'm going to go ahead and give you my commentary now. Thank you. Whew, 1 hour, 19 minutes in, a lot of information I played for you. All right, let's see what I got here. Notes and notes. How long has Vicky waited on this moment to break free from her life? I bet you all didn't ever think about that, did you? See, a lot of you look at what's been said and you don't look at it literally. I would tell you, look at the bigger picture. How long has Vicky been waiting to escape her life? Because that's really what this is about. It's not really about Casey wanting out. We know he's a bum. He's a killer. He's a murderer. Mental issues, drug head. Well, we know all that now. But I don't think you were looking at the fact that this is more to it than just she broke out some guy that she fell for inside of prison. You have to weigh the entire story for what it is really worth, what it is really about. It's about Vicky. She has not liked herself, insecure, bitter, mad at the world perhaps, not happy with herself, unfulfilled. In walks this tall drink of water, so she thought, but locked up, a felon, a killer, but she was attracted to him anyway. So you see, he was already jacked up when he came into the picture, her jail. And she was jacked up as well. She wasn't happy with herself. Because for her to go to these lengths to get this man out of jail shows you she was jacked up possibly before he ever entered Lauderdale jail. And I don't think many of you are realizing the significance of who Vicky really is. She's been unhappy. And to her, perhaps he is her savior. Perhaps she is delusional. Perhaps she is unstable, unwell mentally herself. But she knew better because she planned everything to show she's lucid in her mind and knows right from wrong. And that's where people cannot argue about her being coerced, forced. And let me address that as well before I get into continuing to talk about her mental state. For the woman who spoke and said she wouldn't have done this. She wouldn't have done what exactly, ma'am? What is it that you think Vicky has not done wrong? He made her do it. How can he make her do it and he stays handcuffed in the jail alongside the other inmates? She is the one in control of her position, her status while she was in that jail. She never ran off with any other inmates or him beforehand. And you want to say he coerced her, he made her. That ain't like her. She likes her job. Well, let me tell you something, ma'am. She doesn't like her job. She didn't like her job. Because if she didn't like her job, she could have easily folded and retired a long time ago and went about her merry way. She retired because of Casey. And she found some sick sensation, fascination with a felon. That's the bottom line. Stop aiding her, enabling her. See, this is what's wrong with the world. People love enabling people in nonsense. And this is why we get bamboozled by people, because we enable them, we feel sorry for them, or we go along with the flow, knowing they jacked up anyway. That's why I said she's not the first one to aid somebody doing wrong. She just happened to be working in the damn jail. She's been wanting to break free of her life. And some of you need to realize it's not about Casey. You think that because he was an inmate, but it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. She's been wanting to break free from her life. See, you got to watch the whole story. You're not watching. Anybody that can leave their mother behind, their dog behind, and we know you can get a dog anywhere. You can get another dog, goldfish, whatever, pet. But she left the mother a whole human being. The person that brought her here took care of her. And you saw the way the mother talked in the interview. Oh, I don't care about her living with me. She's welcome here. That's my daughter. But see, guess what, mommy? She can't say the same about you because she left you behind to worry unless you already knew of the plan and you're lying to the public. See, you'll never know because is mommy going to tell the truth? Hell yeah, I knew she was going to break that boy out of there, take him out of there. She's going to call me when she's settled and safe. I won't get to see her, but she'll let me know she's safe. So you don't know. And as I said, it's not to disrespect the mother, but people have aided fugitives before. Once again, it's not about freeing Casey. Vicky wanted out of her own life. Stay woke. This is the real Vicki White. For those who are confused about who she is. You go on and on about her record, had no blemishes. Oh, she didn't complain. She didn't do this. She was nice. You could talk to her. She could listen. Well, that's how she got wrapped up, because obviously she listened to Mr. Casey White talk at some point. And as one official said, she started to sympathize with the inmates. That's why it was so easy for her to get wrapped up with this one. Who's to say that she hasn't been wrapped up with other inmates before, liking them, talking to them, maybe talking to their family members out of sight, visiting them, laying up with them? So you don't know, because you don't know Vicki White. Wouldn't you be surprised if you find out she has had other improprieties with other inmates in the past? Stay woke. Maybe she's a sneaky little bird. She knows how to keep things on the low, the hush-hush, and nobody finds out. The only way somebody finds out is if the other participant decides to talk. See, that's the whole thing about a secret. In order for the secret to get out, somebody has to divulge it, or somebody gets caught in the secret. Has Vicki liked other inmates before? Talked to inmates in prisons before? Visit inmates in prisons before? Pen pal inmates in prisons before? Has she even dated online before? Talked to men online, Facebook, WhatsApp, date sites. Who is Vicki White? But I think you know who Vicki White is. She's a chameleon. She's heartless because she left her mother behind. And once again, on my community post, I'm going to address that again. Why did she move out of the house? What reason did she tell her mother? Did she tell her mother why she was selling her house? Did she tell her mother why she was selling the house? If she didn't give her mother a reason, did the mother ask her, why are you selling this house? Did she just make up a lie and say, Mommy, I want to live with you. I don't want the burden of this house anymore. I'll help you pay your bills over here. And the mommy said, okay, sure. Or does the mother know the truth about her daughter, Vicki White, and who she is? Very baffling information. Okay. I got so many notes. Take my time. They're on the run. Day 8. And have not been found. She finally took off her mask, Vicki White. Vicki White has been living a lie, empty, searching for something for a very long time. And she found it in Casey White. Left the elderly mother dog behind. Talked to the mother the same day, called and checked on the dog. How cruel is that? What did she say to her mother exactly verbatim? What did the mother say to her? Did she tell her mother she loved her? Did she hug her mother for the last time? You heard none of that in the interview with the elderly mother. For those of you who think or thought you knew Vicki White, you've been speaking to the news about her unblemished record. She smiled a lot, had kind words to say, but you didn't know her. Because you see, anybody can hide behind a smile. And I think we all know this. As Smokey Robinson would once sing, the tears of a clown. The clown is here to entertain you, make you laugh. But deep down inside, the clown is crying. But you don't see the tears of the clown because his face is painted and he's here to entertain you. Or as you would see, it was a lady clown entertaining the jailers, the mother, the town folk. But deep down inside, there was a sad clown that was a jailer. And she finally was able to take the makeup off and run wild and free with Casey White. She's cold. She's cruel. You see, people go through life not telling people what they really think about them. See, just because a person don't tell you how they actually feel, especially if it's something negative, doesn't mean that the feeling does not exist. You can go to work with people every day and don't like your boss, don't like the girl in the cubicle next to you, behind you, the person sitting in front of you in school, behind you in school. Why should I tell you I don't like you? Because it possibly would cause a problem, especially if I work with you on my job. Stay woke. You don't want to rock the boat. When it comes to your family members, you don't want to rock the boat because perhaps you need them. You're dependent on them. It would be, it would cause issues, let's say, expectations, especially with families, because families expect everybody to get along. That's your brother, that's your sister, your mom. You're supposed to get along with them. It doesn't matter if you disagree. You can't hate your mother. You can't hate your sister or your brother. Yes, you can. People do it all the time. People loathe people all the time, and they never let them know they don't like them. Starts at childhood. Competition between brothers, sisters. Favoritism with family members and the children. You know how it goes. But people sometimes don't ever say, I didn't like the way I was treated by my mom, my dad. I didn't like the way my sister treated me, my brother. They picked on me, they teased me, blah, blah, blah. I've always disliked her or him. Yeah, and that's my damn brother, my sister. And then maybe it doesn't come out until people are older. When somebody's arguing about money and finances or something, and then the truth comes out. Yeah, you favored him or her over me. No, I didn't. No, I would never. I love all my children. No, you don't. See, you don't know people. You don't know what really goes on with people behind closed doors. You don't know how people really feel because a lot of us won't tell you how we actually feel about certain things, people, situations, circumstances. And perhaps this is Vicki White. She rode the wave. But she never told people, hell no, I don't like you. I don't like this damn job. I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of being cooped up in here. I'm tired of not being free. I'm tired of being looked at a certain way. I'm tired of feeling insecure. You don't know what the hell was going on with this lady. You see, the situation with Casey's obvious. He's a misfit. He's a druggie. He's an open book. There's a difference. But nobody knew Vicki White because she wore a clown suit. Makeup, masquerade, happy, go lucky, never complain, no blemishes, but she wanted to be free. So you're dwelling on Casey as the inmate, the felon, the murderer, but really the story is about Vicki White. Stay woke now. What was her turning point to get entangled with Casey White and to later decide to free him? Hello, Jacoby. How you doing, sweetie? Well, Jacoby, I'm going to drop the link. If you'd like to come up here and give your opinion, just say yes or no. Jacoby, would you like to hit the link to give your opinion pertaining to Miss Vicki and the situation? Just say yes or no, sir. Well, I guess he's not going to answer. Well, I'll keep on talking. The woman that said she loved her job. No, she didn't. She couldn't have loved her job or she wouldn't have risked her reputation and not getting a pension and never getting her money. Jacoby, are you going to keep talking in the chat or would you like to hit the link and be heard? You do not have to show yourself. Lord have mercy. Where's this going? Casey was more of a priority to Vicki White. That's obvious. She allowed him to be a priority. And perhaps Vicki was the type of person that she put other people first. Because usually people who get themselves entangled in crazy scenarios such as this usually are people who put other people first. They're the yes man, the yes woman. Hey, can I get some money? Hey, can I get a ride? Hey, can you help me with my problem? Hey, can you listen to me? They never say no. They're afraid to say no because they don't want you to judge them, think ill of them. Is Vicki the yes girl? Was she a yes girl before last Friday? Perhaps she was. That's how she came to be in this situation. Thank you, KM. Thank you for the super chat. Happy Mother's Day to you and happy weekend to you too, baby. You said he made her do it. The lady on the news. He didn't make her do anything. He was an inmate. How did he make her let him out? Other inmates are in there locked up, and this one person just made her let him out of jail. He made her do it. He coerced her. Oh, he must have held something over her. Like what? That she was writing him or talking to him? All she had to do is deny it. Oh, I've never talked to him outside of work. He doesn't have my phone number. He doesn't blah, blah, blah. And he could say, yeah, I got proof, blah, blah, blah. And she could just lie and say, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe somebody gave it to him. Maybe one of you all gave it to him. I don't know nothing about it. I don't want to talk about it. Bring me proof, fire me, what? Because remember, they said the inmates went to officials to say there was a special relationship. Not necessarily sexual, but favoritism. So you want me to believe in this small town, small jail, nobody knew besides the inmates that she was showing him favoritism. I'm telling you, you all ain't woke. You know damn right, you know damn well them folks in that jail that worked with her since something was going on. You don't have any proof to that, Maria. You know damn well that woman would have said something about that man threatening her. And they would have moved him out of there, Johnny on the spot. Exactly. She had the power over him. Of course she did. She is the jailer. And as many of you love to say, nobody questioned her because of her rank. Well, maybe some of you should have. And I got a funky feeling some of you knew what was going on as far as her favoring him. Maybe you didn't have any type of receipt that there was something sexual, touchy-feely. But even favoritism should show you there's a sign that she's the weaker link and she could be a problem as a jailer. Stay woke. That's how stuff gets out of hand. That's why right now they're on the run because the signs were there all along. The inmates have told the story. So you still can't make me believe that those other jailers didn't hear the gossip. You chose to ignore it. People talk. Do you know here in the street, we hear what's going on in the jail and we ain't even locked up? How would I know what's going on in the county jail unless somebody came out to jail telling it? Just like the people in the jail know what's going on in the street because people from the street talk to them on the telephone to tell them what's going on. So I'm going to say it one more time. How many of you in the jail that worked in the jail knew she favored Casey White and you didn't say anything? You had to have known. Because there's no way an inmate is gossiping and you don't know what the hell they're gossiping about. No way. So I'm going to say this to the lady that spoke to the news and said he made her do it. She's not involved. They have evidence that showed there was no medical visit to the courthouse, ma'am. She sold her home weeks before. She bought a car and ditched it, which was close proximity to the hotel that she stayed in the night before. She bought men's clothes at a Kohl's allegedly beforehand. And she also put in for her retirement, which shows premeditation. So I'm going to ask you again. What is it that you're confused about that he allegedly coerced her, made her do this? She willingly did all these things I just named, and they have no comparisons to Casey because he doesn't run anything because he's an inmate. Who told her to sell her house? Where is her original car at? None of you've asked that. See, this is why the queen is good at what she does. Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn. Since I like attention so much. Since somebody said I like attention. Don't hate the player, baby. Hate the game. You don't know nothing about the queen. Stay in your lane. Where is her original car? Ding. You mean to tell me she sold her regular car to buy a broke down car to walk the streets and hitchhike with a man with toiletries, bags? Somebody out there ain't listening. Y'all better wake up. The story might be deeper than what you think. Most people that go on the run do have help because most fugitives don't have money. So therefore, that means they've had help. Okay? And that's another reason why most fugitives also get caught because they don't have money, don't have a car. So that leads you to carjack, rob people, steal from people, hold people up, breaking people's houses. He must have overpowered her. How did he do that? He wearing shackles and handcuffs. Thank you, Ann Clark. Thank you so much for the support, baby. See, some of you just don't want to accept the fact you didn't know her. So now you want to get on the news and make excuses for her. He did it. He did it. How did he do it? He didn't have a key. He didn't have a pass card to buzz the doors. Stop the foolishness. You sound stupid. You know damn well she aided that man. She's been dealing with that man. She showed favoritism to that man. She wanted to be with that man. And allegedly she's out here on the run with that man because we don't have any information that she is dead. He's dead. We just know they got in that damn car together, patrol car, and rode off into the sunset together and left behind the handcuffs and shackles inside of the police vehicle. What are you confused about? She loved her job. No, she didn't. He made her do it. No, he didn't. She's a good person. She was a good person. Past tense. Checkmate. Just admit you don't know Vicki White. You never did. Not even her own mother knew her. And as I've told you earlier, people hide things from people all the time. Their real feelings every day. And they lie to your face as to preserve themselves not to be looked upon, shunned upon, judged, or fall out with you in public, behind closed doors, family ties, work ties. But you don't know anybody. And I do speak from experience. There's a lot of folks I don't like and didn't care for, and I finally put them in their place and put them on the shelf where they belong. And they ain't got to prove that to nobody either. Since somebody want to question what I got going on. See, a lot of you do stuff for attention too. You want to be seen and heard, but you're irrelevant. Kind of like Casey and Vicki White. You don't know people. You have no idea who you're talking to. People betray you every day. Betray trust. Why are y'all shocked about her? Women have been doing things for men since the beginning of time. Selling their souls to the devil, their children. Stop eating, stop combing their hair, stop bathing. sell drugs for them, harbor drugs, aid them in crime, fraud, assist them in sexual crimes against children, other people, women, sell their bodies for them, and you're shocked that she let a man out of a jail. Come again? Why are you shocked? And that somebody said, they didn't break out of jail. They walked out of there. Checkmate. Indeed. There was no breaking out. No crawling through the crawl space, air conditioning, vent, tunnel. This act was inevitable. Haven't you all put that together? Vicky was going to do something drastic either way because she was unhappy with herself. And the fact that she aided an inmate out of jail and is still on the run is proof in the pudding. She was a time bomb ready to go off. It just so happened to be with Casey White. She's callous, cold, heartless. She may not have killed anybody, but she's evenly yoked with this man. And you all know damn well there are people who would do the same. Just ain't got caught doing it yet. But many women, as I have said, have done things for men. It's just a different scenario. But women have aided men in felonious behavior. They just were not jailers. But there are women who have done heinous things for women, and there have also been men who have done heinous things for women. Whether it be lust, they were in love, infatuated, loved them, whatever word you want to use, because in the end, you don't really know the true emotion of another human being for another human being. Or as we will say in this case, machine. There are many degrees of cruelty. This was hers by abandoning her mother without a word or a goodbye to our knowledge. And as I said, did she hug her, tell her she loved her before leaving her mother behind? Where are her belongings? Did she sell them, put them in storage? Where are her personal effects? And as I said, where is her original car she had? Don't you find it strange there's no mention of Vicki White's car? Period. You're talking about that damn SUV, but where is her original car? See, that's the interesting part of the stories. People talk around the story. See, I don't talk around a story because I'm going to assess everything about a person's life. And that's one thing I thought about. Where is her damn original car? Where is the car she used to get to work every day? Or are you telling me she used the sheriff's car and took it home every day? But she still had to have a car to get around, even if she drove the sheriff's car home, which I doubt. So I'm going to ask the question one more time. Maybe I'm going to ask her mama, where is her original car? See, nobody asked that question. You're too busy worrying about that damn truck. Where are they? Did she take money and buy a place somewhere in Tennessee or the 50 states? Did she really prepare this all the way? Did Vicki White pay for Airbnb, hotel, camper, trailer somewhere else in the United States? Which means at some point she would have had to take off from work to go travel to an unknown place to check everything out if she was going to set up a house, home, trailer for she and Mr. Casey. Because at some point, you should know if she did not, they're going to get tired of riding around and camping around and laying in cars and sleeping in cars. You will draw attention to yourself sleeping in a car because you know you can't sleep in cars in public places such as private property. You will definitely draw attention to yourself. So did she buy a trailer? Winnebago. See, you didn't think about that. A house on wheels. But then you still got to register the damn vehicle. And that's where the aliases will come in. How many aliases does she have? How many has she used to start this crime? How many is she in possession of? And are we talking about real people on real identifications where she has went into a real government office such as a driver license department and got an actual ID the real way but used somebody's damn name? Or is she or had she used a ID machine to make fake IDs? What are we talking about? Or did she go to somebody who she knew made fake IDs? See, that's where another problem comes to play. When the sheriff says we know she used other aliases to buy the car, you better hope she ain't sitting up here with 15, 16 damn fake ass IDs that have the state of Alabama on them, or God forbid, Nevada, California. I don't know, because I don't know about machines and how you make no fake IDs, but I know some people will go march into a real office using somebody's credentials, such as birth certificate, social security card, pretending to be that said person, and mail from 30 days to say that they're that person. See, a lot of you say, damn, she know all about that. You can find out anything you want to know, and it don't have to be through Google. Just ask somebody. Thank you for joining me. As I said, there are many Vickies in the world. There are many Caseys in the world, and there will be more because there are a lot of people who are unhappy in their lives, and they're searching for something, wanting something so terrible, so badly. They're willing to sell their soul to the devil in order to attain it. And that is exactly what Vicki White did last Friday. She sold her soul to the devil. She did not get a payment in return because the devil don't pay you nothing. So you're working for free. Shut up, Queen. It's an old saying. She ain't got nothing. Just a lump of flesh with a bunch of Aryan Brotherhood tattoos and floppy breasts. And God forbid he ain't got nothing downtown. She really sick. Shut up, Queen. I said that. It's not to be disrespectful, but as many people have said, this is craziness. Girl, shut up. Report me to Geico Insurance. Yeah. That's who I got insurance with, Geico. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language. Let me say this to the person in the chat. I don't know what your problem is. You're a very unhappy person. You're possibly another Vicky. Whatever testimony I gave in this chat is my business. I don't have to explain anything to you or anybody about my car and nothing else. Because nothing has been formally identified to what actually happened to the vehicle, because I wasn't there when the incident took place, and I don't owe you anybody a explanation. So you need to find you something to do. Because you don't even know what you're talking about. As I was rudely interrupted by a hater, the world is filled of Vickies and Caseys. And sadly, there'll be somebody else, a female, who will go to great lengths to ascertain affection from a man. And that's the whole point of the story. It's that may not be a jailer, but they'll do something crazy that can affect their livelihood and their freedom. Because as I said, women have been doing it since the beginning of time. doing things to get the affection of a man. They don't want to see Beverly. I don't have to explain anything to anybody. You just have people who are very miserable. That's why I say you have to be careful what you talk about on the network. I don't have to explain anything to anybody. I don't have to explain that I trusted somebody to go somewhere they were supposed to go and they didn't go. And they said somebody hit my car. But in the end, I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. The point is, somebody broke trust. That's the point. So I don't have to explain anything to anybody in this chat. Just another miserable Vicky who don't have a life. Because the fact that you're in this chat means you want attention. So you're no different than Vicky or Casey yourself. I would advise any woman to please don't take this route. Because you see, we don't really know where these people are. We don't know where they are. We don't know if he has harmed her. We don't know her mental state. Many people probably aren't going to care of her mental state because they feel like, well, she brought this on herself. She got herself involved. She did this to herself. But you don't know what is going on with her. You don't know. But she did this to herself. Because we do not know if Casey has turned on her. We do not know if right now he's been craving narcotics and wants to spend her money because we know he doesn't have any money. And that would be also the turning point as well. If indeed, since they've been out on the run, he wants drugs. And now he has to ask her for money to go get the drugs. So who's going to go get the drugs? Let's just say that hypothetical. Hey, I want to get high. I need something. So will it be him going into the hood or finding somebody he knows of to buy the drugs and risk being apprehended, caught? Could be a drug raid, set up, informant, anything. Or will he send her to go do it? Well, Maria, you don't know where they are. They could be anywhere. See, that's another thing you all haven't thought about. The fact that he was a known drug user and perhaps he wants to get high and has gotten high. Who's to say they haven't went and got some drugs since they've been on the run? Because old habits die hard. And perhaps he wanted to get high. Now, the flip of that coin is the ultimate. Would he start or offer her drugs? Yes, Pamela, everybody wears a mask. Well, Fancy, I did mention that about the meds, but I think we already know he's not going to be getting any meds because he would have to go into a doctor's office or a clinic, show some type of identification of who he is, and I think that would be a problem. So he won't be getting any type of medication for any problem, mental or physical. Very, very sick situation. But as I said, she chose this for herself because at some point she had to have known this was not going to pan out, even if she didn't decide to break him out of the jail. Where could this relationship go? You're living in secret, working in a jail where you're fancying the inmate who is facing 75 years plus possible death sentence of murdering this woman, and he was going to trial this summer. So where was this going to go, Vicky? How were you going to make this work even if you didn't break him out of the jail? How was it going to work? I don't think she planned it out thoroughly as far as the long run. Just let me get to this part right here for the now. I have not heard that she has children. Nowhere in any reports have I heard that she had any children. And that's another thing to think about as well. Because remember, I mentioned that in another live. I said, imagine if she had adult children. She would have abandoned her adult children for a man, even though we know when you're grown, you're entitled to date, like who you want, but you aided a felon and an inmate out of the jailing system. So you're at fault and liable and have broken the law. So you're willing to forfeit your relationship with your mother. If she had children, she would have forfeited her relationship with her children. This shows you that she is cutthroat and she doesn't have any empathy in her. So really, she's no different than Casey. He's just killed somebody, shot up people, held people hostage, carjacked people. But this woman is sick in her own right because she would have left her family. She left her family behind with no word, no nothing, to our knowledge. To our knowledge, she don't give a damn. It's sad. No, you cannot rationalize the irrational. And that's the whole point, is that she had full knowledge of him, his crimes, allegations against him. The new allegation now of a woman who was 31 years of age who allegedly committed suicide. That daughter has now come forward saying they do not believe the mother killed herself. Did he kill this woman as well? Why did he kill the 58-year-old woman? Did he know her? Did he date her? Were they friends? Or did he just break in her house? What is the truth to that woman's death? Because that is the new charge he's facing. It's why he was in the Lauderdale jail in the first place. But as I've told you, the story is really about Vicki White. Vicky was searching for something. And it's obvious she was searching for something. Because you can't even explain how she got herself tangled up with this man to free him out of the jail where she just allegedly retired from. And she knew she had to get him out. She knew she had to put in the papers for retiring. It's all a ruse. Yes, she has put the victims in danger. And as the son spoke of Miss Ridgway, he doesn't fear for his safety, I guess, per se. He doesn't think that he's a target. But naturally, he's weary because he knows the man is dangerous and he knows the man killed his mother. And then there's the ex-girlfriend. She's possibly in hiding. Will he go try to find her or harm anybody else? Because naturally, these people are the reasons he got the 75-year sentence. So he could be on a vendetta trip. Let me take care of these people. But then the flip side would be, why bring the heat worse than it already is by trying to stalk out these people and do bodily harm to them? Because if anything happens to any of those victims, he will be the first person that they look at, he and Vicki White. What was she searching for, Maria? This is a major distraction, a major atrocity to the jailing system, the other jailers, the community, the victims' families. This is bad. This is really, really bad. That she is with someone else that wanted this guy out. I don't know, Mary. See, that's the thing. We don't know anything. As the sheriff has said, for those who are still questioning who else is involved, to their knowledge, nobody aided them out of the jail or outside help. But the point is, you all don't know Vicki White. So you can't say who all knew what, who she asked a favor from, told somebody something, and who she had contact with outside on behalf of Casey White. Because who's to say he didn't hook her up with somebody to contact? But see, that's another problem you also have to ascertain when you say there could be outside help, let's say pertaining to Casey White. How would he talk to her in conversation? I mentioned that the other day in a live. Oh, Pam, that's too lifetimey. But I can see her protecting herself if indeed they had an altercation. I would assume she knows how to use a gun. But let's talk about that. Since they say she never visited the prison, just only through phone calls, he and she talked when he was at the other prison, assumingly. Because I really don't want to think he was talking to her off hours at the same jail where she worked. That would be very risque. Because they do record your conversations in jail and in prison. Did she talk to him at this current jail where they just left, off hours? During her work hours, how did they talk and communicate about this escape? Or did she plan it on her own and surprised him? I mentioned that in my last lives. Did Vicki White surprise him with this escape? Did she say to herself, I'm not going to tell him nothing. I'm just going to one day tell him he has a medical appointment, and then I'm going to ride him off and then say, voila, magic, surprise, you're free. Could that have happened in this situation? Because everybody's putting the blame, of course, that he coerced her. Some people have said, not everybody, but some. He did it. He coerced her. Well, who's to say that she had not been planning this on her own? That she said, I like this guy. I want to be with him. He's innocent. They've got the wrong guy. He didn't do all this stuff. They said, I'm going to get him out of here. I know you didn't think of that, Myra. A lot of people haven't thought of that. Could this all be Vicki White's grand poobah? I love him. I want him. I'm going to get him out of here. I'm not going to let him die in here. I'm not going to let him go down 75 years plus possible death sentence. Going to get him out. Who's to say that right now, Casey White never conspired to get out of jail with Vicki White? Who's to say that this elaborate plan is all Vicki White? She is the mastermind, the orchestrator of this ruse. She surprised him last Friday by putting him into that car, lied to him about a medical appointment. He rode the ride thinking he was going to the courthouse, and then they went to that parking lot and she uncuffed him and he realized he was free. Could that be the situation? Yes, that would give anybody the heebie-jeebies. Because just the thought of her freeing him is scary alone. But imagine if Casey White never knew. Because the one thing that nobody has acknowledged in any interview is the fact of how they were able to talk without being recorded. To talk about this plan. And that is something I think many of you need to factor in to the scheme of things. How did Vicki White talk to Casey White about getting him gone out of the jail? Because they have audio, video in the jail. So they can hear all conversations in hallways, breezeways. Maria, you're not listening. It doesn't matter if she had a burner phone. His conversations are recorded from the jail. The only way he would have been able to talk, yes, is on a burner phone. And you think nobody would have heard him talking in the jail cell, depending on how the cells are set up? You don't even know if he was in an open room in the jail, because some jails don't have cells. They just have one big room with a bunch of cots stacked on top of each other. See, these are the things you have to know in order to get to the bottom of how this plan came to fruition. Because even if he had a phone in the jail, let's say she brought him one, gave him the phone, somebody in the jail would have told that he had a phone, blackmailed him, stole it, whatsoever. Somebody probably would have said something. Hey, Casey White got a phone. So how did the two talk about this ruse in the jail. Because one, as I said, video, audio inside of the jail. Two, he would be a fool to call her on any type of phone as to not have people listening to the conversation. Because you know that even if you're not speaking on a speakerphone, you still can hear through the cell phone. And you're in close proximity to another inmate. Now, as far as her transporting him off the property, we do not have any confirmation that they ever went off the property together besides the visit last Friday. That is something I would like to know as well, to ascertain how she conversed with him, if indeed she told him she was going to break him out. I don't think these people really have any idea who Vicki White is, what she's been doing. Because that was asked by a reporter during the conference the other day to the sheriff. What has she been doing up until last Friday? I don't know. See, you don't know. Well, that would be risky too, Fonda, to give him mail. Because you know they do confiscate and check their letters for any type of incriminating information in their mail. That would be risky as well. She would have to be talking hypothetical. And another thing, if they confiscated any letters, the one thing they would ask him is, how did this letter get into jail? Because you know they're keeping account of all mail coming into the jail. Maria says somebody else was helping. Myra says maybe she was obsessed with him. Maybe. See, that's the thing about this story. You don't know all the intricate details because, one, we don't have the two suspects here to talk, to tell us anything. Yeah, give it to him. But what I'm saying, sweetheart, the mail could still be confiscated inside of the jail. You still got to be able to put the letter down after you read it. So why would you want to leave the letter out? Hide it under the mattress, it still could be confiscated. That's what I'm saying. And I'd like to also know, how did they know he was trying to plan an escape the very first time he came to the Lauderdale jail, where he had a shank and was wanting to take somebody hostage? Who gave up that said information? Because the one thing you all have not addressed is the fact that she was working at the jail that time. And that's when they implemented the 2-man-woman rule of escorting an inmate. Myra says maybe he really had no idea this was going to happen. Not like he makes the doctor appointments. Exactly. Exactly. Very true. He has no jurisdictions over any court appearances or medical visits. Let's see. Mary says must be others involved. We don't have anything as of yet, Mary. The sheriff says nobody inside helped. And so far, we don't have any information of anybody on the outside aiding the two. But that is a very good question. How did the two talk about this ruse, if indeed she told him? 2, did she tell him? 3, is this all the private doing of Vicki White? Where are they? Are they in the South, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas? Are they in the bottom states? Hello, Reese, how are you? Where is this couple? I don't think he's going to hurt her. If anything, they both will get killed by the marshals. Possibly. Because that's what I told myself. I did not want to focus on him harming her because she's savvy and he knows this. And in many ways, Casey White needs her. Because yes, it would just be easy to knock her off, take the money, stay on the run. But he's a big person and he has to keep the mindset to stay low and not get himself caught up and recognized even with a mask or a hat on. and perhaps he doesn't have the fortitude, mental fortitude, and the reasoning to stay under the grid, because you have to be a special type of person to stay under the radar with money or without money. It's easier naturally with the money, but you still have to already have it planned out and have a place to lay up. And as the man said in the audio I played you, 9 times out of 10, she already bought a place for them to hold up, because it would be foolish for them to be roaming around the country knowing that people are looking for a short woman and a tall man, whether they are disguised or not. Myra says, what if he's not into this and she had enough and offed him and offed herself? See, we don't know. So you don't know if he hurt her already, he's on the run alone, or picked up somebody else for the ride. If he used her and had another woman in tow, you don't know if he is hiding out at another woman, family member, friend's house, somebody he met online. You don't know. You don't know if they had an altercation, she hurt him, she's on the run. And yes, you don't know if things got so bad for her, she couldn't take it, she killed herself and him as well. See, too many options to weigh, because we don't know anything. But that is the next question. How long can this go on? Who will be the first to fold on the other one? Who will be the first to turn on the other one? Because in the end, no matter how bad her life appeared to her, she was searching for something out there she still did not know and have the oomph in her to be on the run. Because as I said, it takes a special type of person to live off the grid and look over your shoulder 24 hours a day. It would have to be daunting work and a daunting task. And it would get old. Very old. Yes, Pamela says a rental paid up for a year, but that would still be a lot of money, because you're talking about 24/7, 7 days a week. That would take up a lot of money, especially depending on how much the Airbnb is running for, whether it's a room or a whole house, cottage. I'm not going to hold you all up because this is the weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies in the chat. And for those of you who have catered to other people's children and been a mother to other children besides your own, or took in somebody's child, happy Mother's Day to all of you. Please be safe. God bless you. Thank you all for the kind words. And I thank you for everything and the support. I'm going to leave you with this pertaining to Casey White and Vicki White. Vicki White wanted out of her life. It's not about Casey White. It appears that it's about Casey White because he was the inmate and the one with the criminal record. But the story really is about Vicki White, who was a very lonely, distorted, disillusioned machine, who in the end forfeited her own freedom, relationship with her mother, job, pension, for a stranger. She had been looking for something, possibly her entire life, and assumed she found it in a felon/murderer. But in the end, it shows you that she has not been dealing with the full deck and possibly not living in the land of the here and the now. She is off mentally and very distorted in her thinking. And she is, by most would say, no better than Casey White. She's of the same mind, set, and caliber, and cut from the same cloth. She just hasn't murdered anybody yet that we know of. The story is about Vicky. She took her mask off, finally. And now you know the real Vicki White. You all did not know her. You can only speak of what you saw. But what you didn't see was a very unhappy machine. Thank you for joining me. Have a happy weekend. Happy Mother's Day. This is Everyday Shenanigans.